Hello, I've just unboxed this brand new guitar from PRS. It's a PRS SE Hollowbody 2 with a Piezo bridge pickup. It's in peacock blue, which is very nice. I'm sure you will agree. All flame maple veneers on the front and sides. Some lovely little aesthetic touches on this. I don't know if you can see on my cheap little camera, but it's got like flame maple binding on the back and the sides, fretboard and the headstock, which is really nuts for a guitar at this price point. I'm not going to waffle on too long, but basically the point of this video is, I'm smashing it up already, aren't I? This is an SE guitar, which I think originally stood for Student Edition. I might have that wrong, something like that, which was their version of, Fenders had Squier, didn't they? And Gibson had Epiphone. And there's usually budget models for most high-end guitar manufacturers. And, your grown-up players usually avoid them like the plague, because if you're old, like me, you grew up in the 70s and 80s where Far Eastern import guitars were usually shite, to be honest. That's not to say you don't remember some of them fondly. Like my first ever electric guitar was the Hondo 2 Les Paul copy. I don't know if it was China or Indonesia or Vietnam or whatever, but it came from somewhere out there, and it was awful. It had a bolt-on neck. The action was up here, like your fingers would bleed after every chord. I mean, forget about bar chords, The electrics just crackling and buzzing, and things wouldn't work and drop off, and it was just really the worst with the tuning machine heads were just pointless. It wouldn't hold the tune at all. The bridge was wonky, and that was pretty normal because and the attitude back then was, well, if you want a real guitar, you buy an American Fender or an American Gibson or something like that. And so these were considered basically toys, to learn on. And if you were interested and you kind of paid your dues, making your fingers bleed on these things, then you could upgrade to a better one. And that mentality's survived into the modern day, where I think it's outdated now, because some of these Far Eastern import guitars are better, or maybe that's a bit hyperbolic, but they're very, very close to the high end big boy ranges. Your Fenders and your Gibsons and your PRS. And if not, they're definitely way more value for money. So, for example, this is a Hollowbody PRS SE. And this was about £1,300, which sounds quite expensive for an import guitar. If you want a core, that's what they call it in PRS, a core American-made PRS with a Hollowbody and a piezo bridge, it's £5,000 at minimum, really, because then they have private stock with fancier woods and things like that. You could pay 10 grand easily. So if you just want a Hollowbody PRS, this is fantastic value, because these Chinese-made guitars aren't crap anymore. I hate to tell you. They're fantastic. They're really fantastic. I mean, I'm sure there's still crap guitars out there, but all I can tell you is PRS, what they do is they have a factory out there, obviously CNC machine, so it's all computer-based anyway. The CNC machine carves the body as per PRS American specs. They wind the pickups as per PRS American specs, but they're just, they're using Far East labor and parts and things like that. So, I'm sure some corners are cut, but honestly, it's really not obvious where. I unpacked this out the box thinking, well, the pots will be really cheap and flimsy, and they're really not. The switch will be crap. It's not. The pickups will sound shit, and they don't. The fretwork's brilliant. That's usually the thing, isn't it? You buy a cheap guitar, the fretwork's usually the first thing you notice. You bleeding hands, beautiful. Honestly, I've had worse Gibsons than this, American Gibsons. Fantastic. The only thing I've done is I stuck some locking machine heads on it because it came with just regular ones, which I'm sure were fine, but I just prefer locking tuners. And I stuck some strap locks on because all my straps are already set up for shallow strap locks. And yeah. So, basically don't let your history or your preconceptions of import guitars cloud your judgment. This is a really good guitar. Forget about the SE thing. I think that's what puts people off. I think it's the same with Squier and Epiphone. You see those tags and you think, oh, that's not a real guitar. And if you just closed your eyes and played it, sometimes they're just as good. And sometimes not. Don't get me wrong, but let's not rule it out. And for the money, I guess that's what it comes down to. If someone said to me, listen, go into your guitar shop and pick any guitar you want, yeah, you probably will pick the expensive core model, because it feels nice. But if it's your money you're spending and you're a gig musician and you're not rich, you can't really afford to look past these. These are boss. So anyway, I opened it up, really lightweight. I bought it from Peach Guitars in the UK. And the reason I chose them was that they're one of the few brands, I think the only one in the UK I've seen, that lists the weights of the individual guitars on the website, which is great. So all your usual websites don't do that. In America, they do. Sweetwater in America, they always list, and you can pick which, if you like a light guitar, you can pick the lightest model they've got in stock. If anybody is watching this and you're involved in these websites, I'd recommend doing it. I know it's a little bit more work for you, but Peach got a sale off me because, the same guitar was in Andertons and Guitar and GAC and all the rest, the usual suspects. But Peach listed the weight of it, and I went, well, great. And I picked the lightest one they had. This was 6 pounds, 3 ounces, and it's really lightweight. And also you can look at the individual flame tops and pick the one you like best. And so, I have no problems with Peach. Delivery was pretty quick, and they offer 0% 2-year interest-free credit, which is pretty exciting. Sounds like I'm doing an advert. I've got nothing to do with them. I'm just letting you know. So let's plug it in. Look, it's got. Oh look, I haven't plugged it in. It's got 2 output jacks. One for your magnetic pickup. So this is just for, your normal humbuckers, just like on a Les Paul. So you can just have it like that and just play it like a normal guitar. Forget about the piezo. And I'm going to pronounce it differently every time, by the way, just to keep you interested. And this one is the output for the piezo. Now, the correct weight, there's no correct way, do what you want, but the nice way to do it is send the piezo to a PA or an acoustic amp, bit of reverb, bit of compression if you want, and send your magnetic pickups to your guitar amp, and pan it on your desk so you can get a bit of separation, EQ it if you want, and you can get some really nice tones. So at the minute I've got what am I into here? I think I've got like a Marshall going into a Kemper, and so I've got a Marshall, bit of a crunch. I'm on the bridge pickup, and I've also got the piezo on. See, I said it differently. So you're getting 2 guitars for the price of one. So this is how it works. So this is your magnetic pickup volume. This is your piezo pickup volume. So turn that down, and you've just got a regular guitar. Turn that down, turn that up, and you've got your piezo pickup. Different again. Turn them both up, and and you could pan one to one speaker, one to a different speaker. So that's quite nice. Another way of doing it is you can plug into this one. So if you don't want to mess around with multiple cables, which I understand, who's got time at a gig? You You plug into that, and it just sends a mix of the piezo and the magnetics just to your amp, and you just control it then on board. So, you know, same thing, but you're just not getting the separation then. So that's just your piezo going through your Fender amp. And you can mix in your magnetics. Yeah, I mean, that's all right, but I think it's better separating them, to be honest. So, you know. Yeah, so that's your normal guitar. And your piezo separated again. And yeah, you pan them and play around with them with reverb and things like that, and probably get some nice tones out of it, yeah. That sounds good. It's got a bit of separation, and so if you've got a rhythm part that you would normally have an electric, excuse me, and an acoustic playing together, you can just do it all yourself. Or again, you know, just use it as a regular guitar. Let's get a Marshall up, see what's going on with this. The semi-hollow, the F-holes, it kind of makes it sustain a bit more, I think. It's almost on the verge of feeding back, but... Oh, it's got an ebony fretboard as well. The tone control, do that woman tone thing. Yeah, so all in all, very happy with this. I recommend it if you're in the market for the fairly cheap, lightweight guitar, 2 humbuckers, and if you want the extra options of the piezo bridge, it's great. So yeah, don't be put off by the SE title. It's just a good guitar, and it's actually reasonable money for what you're getting, and the quality control's excellent. Yeah, check it out. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.